Hey everyone, Colin once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And first off, saying I am feeling much more better now because been sick for the past couple of days, with the stomach flu. Even when I reviewed the previous film Mulan, I said I'm not gonna let no sickness get in the way of me reviewing films. But the reason why there's been no filming for recently is just been sick, lying in bed and just drinking plenty of water, and that's basically it. So, but yeah, feeling much more better now. Back to what I'm doing. So on the next movie review, it's a horror film that I wanted to review for some time because it's another killer animal film. I haven't reviewed one of those in some time. But the film is not much. That's basically it is. I've seen a lot better, and this one is a 1976 film called Dogs. Yeah, so yeah, Dogs. It's not much. It's just, I mean, there's the curse of the time was when they were doing with all these animal films, especially after Jaws. After that, they've been doing a lot of killer animal films, and they say they've been knockoffs of Jaws. Like the next year, I forget, like Grizzly, which I enjoyed Grizzly. That was a blatant knockoff of Jaws, but I enjoyed it though. Then there was other offbeat ones like there was Orca, there was like Alligator, and then another '70s film called The Pack. But I reviewed The Pack. That's a killer dog film which I enjoy. I think The Pack. I reviewed that film. You can check that out from 1977 because this was in '76. The next year, The Pack comes out, and I find that much better than this film because The Pack, starring Jodan Baker, I think I liked it for what it was because this was dealing with domestic dogs, house dogs. While this is the reason why they are ferocious. But in the film, The Pack, they went rogue and vicious because those are abandoned dogs. They form a pack, and the leader is just a very vicious, man-eating dog. I like that film a lot better than this film, and especially the best killer dog film. I'm sure to a lot of people, Cujo, Stephen King's Cujo. I love Cujo. That's the best killer dog film to me because I love Cujo. This is especially it's a classic one. Other ones, Man's Best Friend. I have to review that because I did that. It's another review I did in parts. I want to review it next time. I'll review it as a whole one video. So I have to revisit that one sometime. But that's another one that's I had fun with as well. That's another fun one with Ali Shady and Lance Henriksen. But but this one is just. And I like killer animal films. Like, nature runs amok, as the back of the title says. A little aggressive nature run amok horror. Well, I don't call it this though, but that type of killer animal genre. I like killer animal films, but this one is not much. As for cast wise, this guy named David McCallum. I am not too familiar with this guy. It says in the back he's from the TV show Man from U.N.C.L.E., which that's him right there. And the guy next to him, this guy I recognize. That's George Wyner. I can pronounce his last name because it was with a Y. It sounds like that or an I sound. Wyner or Winner. I call it Winner because it's the best way to sound it to me. But for those who don't know, George Winner, he plays Colonel Sanders in Spaceballs. Rick Moranis, what's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken? Prepare a ship! Prepare a ship for ludicrous speed! I liked him, and so I loved him in Spaceballs. I loved him as Colonel Sanders. So he's basically the only cast member I know. Other casts I basically don't know who they are. But the story is that okay, it's in a small town. I think it's in California, and some ranchers' cattle get killed, and although it's in one issue, I have to that's an issue that a lot of times sometimes it's a little bit too dark to see, because I understand if it's late out at night when you're outside, it can be very dark though. But it's for the film though, but you have to be able to lighten it just a little bit for us to see. I mean, they did the same thing with another film that I love is The Relic. The Relic, yeah, it was times that there was too dark, especially for when the monster attacks. It's too dark to see what's going on, though. That's a nitpick I have, though, but I love the film regardless. Is that we could just lighten up on the darkness a bit so I could see what's happening. But some cattle get killed, and then the rancher he's gonna stay up to see when the next attack's gonna happen, and then the dogs, they gang up on the guy, and look for a second, it looked like they were playing tug of war because they're grabbing both his arms, tugging at him. And the guy David McCallum, him and George Winner, they're investigating and saying that it could have been coyotes or wolves, but the bite marks were different though until they finally come to the conclusion. Well, after a couple more attacks, like a guy who's on a motorcycle, or is it? Yeah, it seemed like it was a motorcycle. He sees a pack of dogs sitting in the middle of the road. He falls down, and he says, hey, you guys, I could have killed you. You ruined my bike. And then they attack him, and then this old lady comes out, say, hey, you good dog, stop it. And then she notices her own little dog is attacking the guy as well. And then the dogs, they turn on the old woman, they attack her, and they drag her off. And the guy, he's like moving a little bit, then dies. And the reason why why the dogs are has now turned to murderers is that they were said that the government near the college, they've been doing some experimenting on a device which even George Wyner says pheromones. This is coming from what the government said have been making this linear accelerator. It's something like that is what gets making cause for the dogs become murderers. And so they that Dave McCallum has determined that it's all done by the domestic dogs. They go to this guy who's like the head of the college. Of course, he doesn't believe him. And then while this happened, there's at the field, like a football field, there's this little dog show, and the dogs, they chase the people, but there's not any injuries. And there's some guys who want to form a posse, and so basically 4 guys form a posse. They sit out in the middle of wherever they're at, in the dark, and they can't see what's going on. They can't see what's out there because it's around the surrounding area. It's too dark for me to see. Even though they got flashlights though, but still, they say where are they at? Because they think they're all around them. Then one guy gets attacked, and the other two guys. And for one guy who's getting attacked by one dog, you see it up close to his face. Up close to his face, like half his face, like right here, has been clawed and chewed. If you can see it up close, I think it's a decent effect where you can tell his face, like this part of his face has been like clawed up. And the fourth guy, he runs. He gets attacked though, but even though the attacks don't seem that too severe, he does manage to get to the truck though, but then he dies from the wounds. And so David Callum and George Wyner, they go to the station, the police station. George Wyner opens the door and there's a dead cop in there. I don't know where the dead cop will be in there. I guess the best guess that he was outside, he got attacked, and he ran in, and then ran himself to the closet. And then there's another person who died from the wounds. But they get some guns. They see another person being attacked by a dog. And George Wyner, the guy who's being attacked says shoot it, and then George Wyner goes and shoots the guy instead. And then David, he goes and shoots that dog. And George, he goes like, "Oh, I shot him. I shot him." So, and so they decided. So then they go to another park. They find a dead lady in a pool, and David's gonna go see his, I guess it was his ex-girlfriend, I think. And while George goes back to college to warn the students, and even David's I guess ex-girlfriend, she has a little dog, and yet and what's funny is that she has a little dog that somehow doesn't seem to turn on them, doesn't act vicious or anything. It's fine, and they don't even ask the question, and David doesn't even ask the question, "Oh, this dog is not affected. It's not like all the other dogs." So they don't, and so what's the connection? Well, how come this little guy is not attacking? He doesn't ask the question that, and why? You would not be curious to see why this dog is not affected with like all the other dogs. And he never brings up to anybody. Never brings up to, I don't know. It's like, okay, your dog's fine. That's fine. And they get attacked. They run to the garage. Well, another stupid thing. The guy even asks her, "Is all the windows and doors locked?" But yet, when she's upstairs, she screams, and I guess coming from the open window. And then that's when they run into the garage. And he tries to bore up the door, and they tries to get in the car, but she left her keys inside. And he tries to hotwire the car, and the girl notices one of the hole in the drywall. She screams. The guy tries to patch it up, and she's still screaming, and she won't shut up. She still screams and screams and screams some more, and even the guy, he gets his leg caught, and she's still screaming, and until they get in the car and they stay there. And back at the college, there's this fat guy, one of the students. He goes, he wants to stuff himself with these one one of these, like, I guess, like, muffins, I guess, I don't know. And he's surrounded by some dogs, and George is telling him to throw the food, and the guy's still standing there, and he's saying again, throw the food, and yes, throw the freaking food already! Stop stuffing your face with them, okay? It's not worth your life. So he throws him, but there's one dog, a German Shepherd, and George Wyner, he doesn't have any more bullets, so he whacks it with it. I guess kills it, because you can see a little blood on it, so I guess he kills it with one whack. And the dogs, they chase after the students, and they get behind glass doors, and the fat guy, which he's idiot, which the dogs are just sitting there watching them until the guy sees them in there. I guess he never saw the dogs right in front of them, and even the guy George Winter says, "Hey, don't." I guess, and the guy's like, "Let me in," and the dogs, he just jump on the guy, make him, because he's back against the glass, because he's heavy enough, and breaks the glass, and then the dogs attack one guy, and the whole crowd of students, they just stand there like idiots, just watching. They stand there like idiots, just walking like this. Well, one dog is attacking one person. They don't bother to, hey, get the dog off them, throw it, or even kick the dog. No, they just stand there like idiots, and then all the dogs that come in, they tend. Well, you don't see them attacking every single person, but then it fade transition to the next scene. And I like this. Okay, it's a very bloody aftermath of all the dead bodies, from the dog attacks. I like this. You didn't have to show much. You don't have to show every single person getting attacked by dogs. It just shows the aftermath that all these dead bodies, bloodied. Okay, it's a nice bloody aftermath. I'll give it that. And then George Winter, he sees them all dead, and you guess he's like, he looks like he's lost now, and he just goes and walks away, away from the building. And then David Callum is still with his woman, and they think the dogs are gone. She goes inside, the dogs are still there, so they go into his car, and they drive away to get away from the dogs, and they go in this field where there's a cop car. They find one body, and then the other body they find is George Wyner. So he's dead, because last time we saw him, just like a few minutes ago, he's walking away from the building, and then he gets killed off screen. He's just found dead. So, and then they get back in the car, and on the radio it says, the only dogs are being infected, domestic dogs being infected. And then as the car drives away, the camera pulls in a close-up of a cat as it meows. Now, of course, this was supposed to be a setup because they wanted to do a sequel called Cats, but that didn't happen because this film did not do all that well. So, yeah. So this is it's a short review because it's not much it's not much to talk about. I mean, I watch this, I'll go watch The Pack or even watch Cujo or Man's Best Friend. It's not much. I mean, one thing I'll say I'll give to is that I think they did a good job, getting the dogs to act vicious. Even the ones that are the type of dogs that don't act vicious. There's even some little dogs and one that kind of looked like a sheepdog, I think. And I know German Shepherds can act vicious, and some Rottweilers, and I think even Dobermans. I know but even for some of the other ones that don't seem to act vicious, even some of the little dogs, I think they did a good job getting to the dog. I think they did a good job, getting the dogs to act that way. I will give credit to that. And some blood, there's some decent blood. One guy, a guy attacked and with the posse in the dark. one guy gets attacked up close, we see like half his face got clawed, and I like the bloody aftermath showing of all the dead students. But that's pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, this film is just not much. I mean, yeah. Also, like, yeah. This is so that scene right there is when all of the students are standing there doing nothing while they see this watching this one guy get attacked by a dog. They don't bother just kicking it or throwing the dog, picking up and throwing the dog away from the guy. No. Stupid. And plus they all died because of that dumbass's fat guy, because he didn't even see the dog sitting there right in front of the door. It's like, oh, let me in, and then they pounce on him, breaking the glass. And David McCallum's girlfriend, whatever. When they're being attacked, she's screaming, stop screaming, and wanted her to shut up, or I'll throw her out to the dogs. God. And David McCallum's character, what was his name? Harlan. He doesn't bother, ask the question why his girlfriend's dog is not infected. Her little dog she has. It's the only one that's not acting vicious or anything. They never explain it. So we'll never know, because we'll never know how it's not infected, it's not vicious, or anyway, it's just a harmless little dog. So we'll never get that explanation. And for setting up for a sequel, it never happened, because that's what we want to see. We want to see cats next. And the other thing about with killer cats, I want to watch the Stephen King Sleepwalkers, which, well, in this case, there's a whole herd of cats, but they're good because he wanted to kill the two cat creatures. But even if that involvement with cats, I would say Stephen King Sleepwalkers is much better than dogs. But this is not much to talk about. Dogs. I'd rather watch The Pack. I'd rather watch Man's Best Friend, and I'd rather watch Cujo. Cujo is the best one. I just love that film. In fact, I would probably know, because Cujo, he's much more rabid, and I'd probably say he would probably just go and beat the crap out of all these domestic dogs, or probably kill the whole town single-handedly, because Cujo is that badass of a dog to me, because I love Cujo. But yeah. And there's other features. There's interview with the cast and crew, a trailer, fun facts and trivia. Not much for features. The film is on for about 90 minutes, but it's not much to it. I mean, George Wyner, I'd rather watch him in Spaceballs. Have fun with him as Colonel Sanders. Corporal, give me the videos. Give me the video cassette. Spaceballs the movie. What the hell am I looking at? What does this happen in the movie? Now. You're looking at now, sir. Everything here is happening now. Is happening now. Go back to then. We can't. We're at now. Go back when? We can't. Why? We missed it. Just now. When will then be now? Soon. I'd rather watch his role as Colonel Sanders in Spaceballs. He's a lot of fun in that film. Here in this, though, he's just a professor. He made some idiotic mistakes, and he walks away after the aftermath. And the next thing, he gets killed off screen. We see him dead, and that sucks. So yeah. But yeah, that's my review on Dogs. Yeah, it's just not much. It's not much. That's why it's not the worst movie, or probably it's not the worst of the killer animal films, but it's just not much. That's one point. It's not much of a movie. I just want to watch all the other ones I just named off. But yeah, I hope you like this little. It's an plus. It's a little rant anyway, because I haven't done a rant in some time. But hope you enjoyed this little rant of. Hey, but if anyone wants to be curious to check it, be curious about the film. Check it out for your own curiosity, though. But you're not gonna find much about it. So I give you fair warning on it. If anyone who wants to watch it, I give you fair warning. It's not gonna be not much of it. So. But I would say good luck to you if you do watch it. But anyway, yeah, that's my review on Dogs. Not much. But thanks for watching and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.